Well, warm welcome to you all to this, the sixth in our series of webinar RHEA Talks. This one to discuss careers in cybersecurity. In fact, we've already touched upon some aspects of cybersecurity in previous webinars, particularly related to cyber ranges and how they're used in training. So if you'd like to view that or any of our previous webinars, please visit our website. There is a media tab on there where you can find all the recordings of these, this one and all the previous ones before it. So now to the webinar. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is John Bone. I'm a Chief Commercial Officer for RHEA Group, and I'll be a facilitator for today's session. So yeah, please use the Q&A tab in the bottom of your screen to ask questions to our panel members. If the question's targeted at a particular panel member, please make this explicit in your question. I'll be asking those questions once we've had an initial discussion through my three colleagues who are joining today on this webinar. So today I'm joined by three distinguished colleagues who are here to discuss career opportunities and within the cybersecurity market and how candidates might enter this market if they're looking for a career change. So let me introduce the panel. First, I have Jiri Kuchta. Jiri has been in the recruitment business for over 10 years, recruiting, leading teams from small to large corporations, specialized in IT recruitment for the last 3 years, dedicated to cybersecurity recruitment across all countries within the RHEA Group. Anna-Maria Matejic, did I get that right, Anna-Maria? Anna-Maria, thank you. A cybersecurity practitioner with in-depth knowledge of cyber risk management and cultural cyber transformation programs. Anna has extensive experience in building teams in geographically separated territories, having worked for cybersecurity vendors as well as European organizations. She has 18 years of corporate and cybersecurity management experience in various roles, as such, understanding both the technical and business constraints and enablers. And last but by no means least, we have Bram Couwberghs. Bram is the Director of Security Services at the RHEA Group, having joined the company in January 2020. He is managing the group's security services unit, active in 12 countries. Bram had a career as a military officer, serving as an operational commanding officer and military advisor. Before joining RHEA, Bram worked at IBM as a business development manager and program manager for defense and intelligence programs worldwide. So welcome, panel. For those of you not familiar with RHEA, we are a security and space engineering services company with over 650 employees across Europe and Canada. RHEA's focus is to add value to our customers' business through the delivery of specific expertise, technologies and techniques. So today we're here to discuss one of those areas of expertise, that of cybersecurity. So Bram, as Director of RHEA Security Services, you must have a good view of the variety of work that we perform for our clients. So could you give us an overview of cybersecurity opportunities that exist within the RHEA Group and the type of work that this entails?
Thank you, John. So that's a very broad question with a very broad answer as well. So the market is booming, the cybersecurity market is booming because the evolution of cyber threats and cyber solutions is growing very rapidly. And also the number of roles is, there's a big variety of number of roles which are available, obviously not just at RHEA Group, but also in the cybersecurity market. Cybersecurity is quite a new domain, but security as such is as old as human history, I think. So if you just consider cybersecurity as one aspect of the cyber or of the general security organization, then you see also the different roles. For example, in the past, in history, you had engineers who were building the fortresses and the castles and the systems. We have obviously the developers who use bits and bytes as their bricks to build our solutions. Then these solutions or systems need to be tested, checked if it's really securing our organizations and society. For that, we use pen testers. We use quality assurance people who will go in and check if everything works the way it should work. Like any security organization or military organizations, we have our soldiers that are the guys who are at the fence, at the gate, in the towers, protecting us, monitoring what's going on. So that are our analysts and our operators who are in our security operations centers, monitoring their screens, watching what happens in the environment. And for that, we have all the levels of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. That means more and more specialized, until that we come to the level, which are the troops that we're going to need if there's an incident? Well, that are the incident response teams, which we have obviously people who are very qualified, experienced in solving the issue where it's needed to. Once there is a problem, we need to understand what happened and, of course, how we can solve it for the future. For that, we have forensics analysts, people who go in depth, look what was the problem and what happened. So then we enter another domain of security, which is understanding what happened, and that is information. And when you treat information in a structured way, it becomes intelligence. So for that, we have security risks analysts who try to understand what are the threats towards our security organizations. They do TRAs, threat risk assessments from the outside, but they also do vulnerability assessments from, okay, how secure is our organization? So that are all roles which are security roles, cybersecurity roles, which are very similar to other security things, obviously. But the need is much broader than just this security-focused profiles. So obviously we're growing very rapidly. That means we're expanding. We need experienced managers like Anna Maria, for example, who have a strong security background, but they also can have another background. Myself, I have a military background, but that doesn't mean that you don't understand what's going on. So we need team leaders, we need product managers, product owners who can own a product and build and grow it and tailor it towards the needs of the client. That are the people who are working inside the division or a business unit to make things work. But obviously you don't work on an island. You need to connect with the world outside your castle and with your customers. You need business development people who understand the needs and requirements of the customers, because you build solutions to protect your customers' environments. So salespeople, business development people who understand really the environment are of the utmost importance of what we do. Last but not least, you can be as good as the best on earth, but if you're not able to present in a clear message, clear way what you do and how you do it, you go nowhere. So also this RHEA Talk is set up by marketing and communication experts, which are so much needed to bring the right message to the right people, because that's at the end how you connect with the world. So from the pure security people towards the communication people and everything in between, security is obviously a market, which is a sector which is very interesting for a variety of people. And you also see that to the people working in our current workforce. We have, for example, many, like myself, people with a military background who know how to work in strict processes, organizations with strict procedures, with a hierarchy, and who are excellent in intervening in crisis management situations. On the other side, we have obviously the IT developers who understand the code and know how to solve things. So everything in between is possible, from human resources to psychology, what we need, to marketing, to BD. And that makes a fantastic team, because you're able to bring all these skills and profiles together. Thank you.
Thank you, Bram. Thank you, Bram. That's a really good general overview, I think, of everything that encompasses cybersecurity. Anna Maria, as one of our leading practitioners, then, could you give our audience a bit of an idea of some specific activities that we are carrying out at this moment, and what that work entails within your team?
Well, in fact, it's quite difficult to give examples of specific activities, because we have currently a wide range of activities, from the space domain back to the Earth domain, where we are very present in the commercial sector, in the defense sector, in the European institution sector. So it's a wide variety of projects. All of them are interesting. Personally, as a manager, I'm sorry many times that I can't be as much operational or hands-on, how we call it in our world, to involve more in these projects. They are all very interesting with a lot of challenges. So if we think about space, space is still unexplored, physically speaking, but also from a cybersecurity perspective, everything is also in a very early stage, I would say. So there's a lot of space for improvement and research. So that's one area. Back to the Earth, in the commercial sector or in defense sector as well, there's a lot of happenings right now. In commercial, you have a lot of mergers and acquisitions between big companies, where cybersecurity finds itself in the middle of all these mergers. In defense, I don't think that I need to emphasize more what are the challenges, because I think it's quite an actual topic for all of us, you know, not as only as professionals, but also when you turn on TV to watch the news. And also from the European institutions perspective, I think that it's also something that we can see not only through the profession, but if we are looking at what European Union is deciding on a very frequent basis right now, in order to protect us as citizens of EU, says a lot about the more and more important role of cybersecurity. And in fact, I think that also we are moving from cybersecurity nowadays to cyber resilience, which puts things much better in perspective. So okay. I think that that's the let's say information that I can offer about the variety of activities that we have within the services team.
Fantastic, thank you, Anna. And Jiri, so we have good view now of the types of role that we have, the types of work that the types of domains that we're working in. So what advice could you give any of our audience or the wider community, let's say, who wish to apply for a position in cybersecurity, and particularly those maybe who want to change careers from something else into cyber, and whether that's particularly relevant?
Yeah, thank you, John, for this question. It's a very good question. Basically, there are many ways how to jump from one industry to another. For cybersecurity, I have to tell it's not one of the easiest ones, but it's doable, it's feasible, it has been done. A lot of people are now turning their careers towards cybersecurity fields. Mainly, I've seen the trend from IT people backgrounds. But what you can do as a person who is doing something else right now, I don't know, economics, accountancy, something like that, and you want to start in cybersecurity, you want to start thinking about it seriously, you can go through a variety of certifications, for example. I've just read recently that there's a certification called Security Plus. And this certification can be done if you have no clue about cybersecurity subject. You can do it in 60 days, for example, and it's a good layer to build on. Then you can go through advanced degree programs that already have a good edge in the field, like master degrees in cybersecurity. I've seen that a lot also in the CVs lately. And not at last, you can also apply for a lot of, there's a lot of internships right now going on. On LinkedIn, you can just type in cybersecurity internship, and you will get a lot of opportunities there. Of course, you will most likely work for food for free, but you will get the relevant experience. So that, I would say, are the three most important things you could do if you are at the starting line.
Okay, thanks, Jiri. If you do have any questions, these will be anonymous, don't worry, if you want them to be anonymous, but please put your questions in the Q&A within the panel at the bottom of the screen there, and I can pose those to the these to the panel. So oh, we've got one already. My goodness, look at that. Let me see. Oh, good afternoon. Okay, so Bram, you gave us a sort of broad overview of the market and the types of different skills that are required. Are there any sort of particular trends that we see within the market in terms of the type of skills that are required, or the type of technologies, let's say, that are being used?
Sorry, I was still on mute. Yeah, obviously. Cybersecurity is evaluating so fast. So the skills that you acquire are important, but the certificates which you acquire could be quickly outdated. So it's of the utmost important that you stay up to the level of up to date with what's the current status of the knowledge. So often then when we get candidates and they were active in security or in cybersecurity in like 10 or 15 years ago, that is, I don't say it's not relevant anymore, but currently we're moving to obviously more and newer technologies. We are an innovating company. That means we are always on the forefront of developing technologies which will be used tomorrow, next year, in 5 years, in 10 years. So what are we specifically looking for? Are people who have that eagerness to learn, to study, and to improve their knowledge and understanding of what we do. So I cannot disclose all the things what we do, but obviously I can drop some buzzwords and people who recognize these words will know that what we do. If you combine the words of quantum key security with military and defense, then you know in what direction you go. If you combine the word with blockchain and blockchain technology with space and communication and data, then you know what we do. So blockchain technology, quantum key, artificial intelligence. Another aspect, for example, is if you combine the word cyber threat intelligence, which is everything what's happening in the world and see how that evolves, combine that with AI, with artificial intelligence, which is optimizing or strengthening the way we analyze information ourselves. It's kind of an augmented intelligence technology. Then you see, okay, the basic standard skills and understanding is enough to maybe start. But if you really want and add value to the projects, which we do, mainly the engineering projects, then you need this additional understanding. So all of our people are constantly asking and also constantly trying to follow trainings and certifications and make sure that they do studies. And that is why RHEA Group is also deeply involved in all these innovative technology studies funded, for example, by European Commission or by European Space Agency, because we will need that technology in 5 years, 10 years. So all the people that we have, everybody is basic security, often has a strong IT background, but what is more important and what I'm looking for are these people who are willing to study, to improve themselves, and to bring something to us as a team. And that is strengthening us not just as a team, it's strengthening our proposals, our offering to our customers, and that is strengthening more in general how we are able to serve and protect European, in our case, European space or European cybersecurity environment. Mm-hmm. So yes, the trends are there, mainly focusing on innovative technologies, not just from an engineering perspective, but also from the people who have to do the risk analysis, for example. Because they need to understand the impact of all these complex new innovations and the impact on the current environment and systems.
Thank you, Bram. And just continuing on that theme and something that Jiri mentioned, a question for you, Anna. You know, when people come into our teams, if, let's say from a parallel or a tangential profession, let's say, and moving into cybersecurity, how do we encourage those people? How do we develop those people within operational teams? Is it through mentoring or through on the job? How do we do that?
First of all, there's always a combination between individual contributions and openness and willingness to learn. So something that also Bram mentioned. And also the mentoring part that we are really offering. And I know it's probably sounds like a cliche because many companies are proud of offering this, but I have my personal example. So whenever we have new people joining, or even the older ones that would like to change and to do new things, we take care about this part through a process that is more or less close to mentoring. On the other hand, if I think about the complexity of cybersecurity projects, is not only black and white or 0 and 1. There's always the gray area where all bad things are happening in cyber. So that's the area where we need a lot of people, and not always those that are pure technical or pure oriented on the management side. we need people that, if we think about a phenomenon that is happening nowadays in big organizations, social engineering, this is something where not only technically skilled people would fit, but also people with that understand, how the brain is working, to be able to anticipate. Because in cybersecurity nowadays, very important is to anticipate and to be, or at least to try to be a step ahead of from the let's say the bad guys. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of space for a lot of many other let's say professions, not only for those who are really targeted in cyber and in the technical area. I just gave an example. Now, of course, there is always the supporting part, the marketing, the way we communicate. Mm-hmm. We all know that in cyber and also in development and these more technical areas, people are not always happy to socialize with people outside of their circles. So communication is very, very important. Even when we work with our clients, I believe that if we don't manage to get to the right results in the expected time, communicating on time makes the difference always. So that's why I'm always encouraging also my team, and I know in the whole RHEA is the same attitude towards an open communication. But that is also something that comes with training. Not all of us are born with these communication skills.
Okay, thank you. So those coming from a psychology or that sort of background are also valuable within this particular arena. That's interesting. So Jiri, I've got a question for you, following on from a point you made earlier, so around this certification. What type of organizations are offering that? And is it widely offered through many institutions, or is it a specific plan that somebody's put in place?
Yeah, John, you're right. It's actually a lot of providers with those certifications. So you can really choose from many of them. You just go and type in Google cybersecurity certifications. That there will be dozens of offers that will pop up. But I was gonna add something to what I was already saying. As how can someone new in cybersecurity stand out among others? I can definitely give an advice on that if okay, because I've seen a lot of applicants as working in a recruitment team. So what can really, how you can distinguish yourself from your, other applicants? You can, first of all, get qualified. As I said before, you can, even though you're not certified yet, you can put it on the CV as you're planning on to, for example, the Security Plus, you can put it there. You can put the starting date of the certification where you are most likely you want to do it. It's at least a talking point at the interview. So at least you have something already to talk about the cybersecurity manager or a recruiter. Then I would say read a lot of material regarding cybersecurity. Learn the terms, acronyms. Because this is how you get by, in discussions, and the people on the other side of the phone, they will understand that you know something. You're investing your time in it. Be prepared, because sometimes they don't invest time into what RHEA does, what we do, what positions we're offering. It's really sometimes you feel like it's just a blind try, so like a shot in the dark. So please study what the companies do, what the position is about, study the requirements. It's really important. And for us, and for me personally, if I see that you spend time on that, I will respond always, because you invest time, I will invest my time. Then you can easily stay informed as well across the social network like LinkedIn, for example. There's a lot of groups, cybersecurity groups. You can ask to join in. There's a lot of new trends, interesting articles about cybersecurity, and also a lot of positions or internships as well. So this is also a good place where to be. Then you can also do some networking. It's easy these days. You can really reach out to anyone who works in cybersecurity already and ask questions. How's the work? What's your daily activity? How fast can I learn? So this is also, so this proactiveness is really key. If you want to really jump to another field of job field. And again, document your training and skills. So whatever you do and it has to do something with cybersecurity, put it on the CV. Try to be specific. Try to be straightforward, but make sure that it's there. That also increases your chances. So that's what I wanted to add as well. How to stand out as a first-time applicant in cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you, Jiri. And in answer to the question we've just received, are there specific certifications, or are all certifications created equally? Let's say that are useful for or as an initial step to get in the door.
Yeah, I mentioned already one, Security Plus, but there are many more. For example, CISP, like Certified Information System Security Professional. This one is valued amongst the I would say media to more advanced engineers. So it has its value. When we see this certification, our day is much brighter. The same when we're looking for security auditors. There's another one, CISA, Certified Information System Auditor. There's if we're looking for cybersecurity managers, there's a CISM, Certified Information Security Manager. So there's many of them for ethical hackers, offensive, defensive. So those kind of certifications, really, it's a huge group of certifications. So it's good that I think I would advise to look at it as a whole first, to see what's out there and to see where you're interested by reading, just by simply reading the material, what you would be interested in. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of interesting things like Bram already mentioned, and Anna Maria, the forensics, threat analysis. There's so many good disciplines in cybersecurity that you don't need that, IT background, but you would need to study. But you still have a chance because the market is really now hot and there's a lot of opportunities right now.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Jiri. Yeah, another question. So to prevent the cyber attacks, it's important to spread the awareness to correctly use the IT devices. How could be, in your opinion, the best approach towards spreading awareness of cybersecurity and in parallel, the information security to the people and the users? Bram, do you want to give that one a go first?
Absolutely. Cyber training, cyber awareness, like I said, it's a whole new domain. But for example, when you're in Belgium, 18 years old, you want to take the car and go on the public highway, you need a driver license. That is a training and a certification that you're able to drive, manipulate the car to be safely on the road. I think on the cyber highway, it should be exactly the same. Everybody should understand at least the risks and know how to behave and how to have a good grip understanding of the situation which they face. For that, obviously, RHEA Group developed a cyber range. It's a training range, a training facility, and we have many scenarios from the most basic to the most complex one, where we help people to understand and to react to certain incidents. And that's what we try to offer to everyone, from the most junior to the most executive level. It is not easy. Cyber awareness is something which is growing through time, but the more and more that cyber will merge with the physical world, I'm talking about OT devices, autonomous vehicles, about your fridge which will speak to you when you need fresh eggs. People will get more and more aware of the risk which they encounter. It is our job as a security company to make sure that systems are secure, to make sure that the people could be trained, can be trained, and could feel comfortable acting in this new dimension which the cyber world actually is. One thing which is linked to that, which we didn't mention yet, I'm always saying cyber is a new dimension. It's a new reality. And what we discover, it's also somewhere an unregulated environment. So indeed, there are risks and there are adversaries trying to take profit of vulnerabilities of people, social engineering, exploiting weaknesses in systems. So one group of people which we absolutely need for the future are people with a legal background, lawyers who understand how to set up this regulatory frameworks to make sure that, like on the public highway, we have also a cyber framework where everybody can move safe and secure without hampering or avoiding the freedom of movement on internet and in the cyber dimension. So cyber awareness of the utmost importance. from the person who is actually cleaning the toilets because she needs a code to enter the room, to the executive CEO who's in a board of directors. They all need to be aware of the new dimension which they're living and working in.
And Anna, thank you, Bram. Anna, as a practitioner and sort of seeing customers day to day, let's say, how do we get that message out to our clients about making them aware of the importance of cybersecurity and the associated vulnerabilities?
Well, that's a work in progress still. And I say it because awareness around cybersecurity, like Bram mentioned before. So first of all, cyber is relatively new. And when we say new, it's like, let's say, up to 10 years. So that means new. Okay, awareness is even newer. And it's comprised not only from the technical part, but also from the emotional part. And I meet a lot of customers where we perform diverse security assessments, and they tell us, yeah, in general, on the cyber awareness part, we stand the best. And I'm always interested to understand how comes they stand the best, because obviously I can learn from the customers, not only they can learn from us. And I understand that they have all kinds of technical tools in order to put the awareness in place, but that's not always the solution. At the end of the day, awareness, it's transmitting the information to the other people. Now, the other people are taking this information and filter it through their emotional side. So in the cyber awareness part, there's always an intersection between the emotional and the really rational part that resides in all of us. That's why the success of the awareness programs is pretty much focused on how the organization understands to send that message, and how the organization understands as well not to punish the people with more training just because they saw that let's say some people didn't really get the message from the first time. They use this, and it's actually in the literature, it's called like this sort of punishment, but it doesn't work. I mean, maybe it works with our kids when they are small to punish them, but after a certain age, even that doesn't work. So with adults, this is a continuous challenge, the cyber awareness part. And I think the more we will understand, and that's why at the end of the day, we are carrying this conversation today, is the fact that the more we understand that cyber is not only for the technically skilled people, but also for other variety of professions, the more successful we will be, not only in cyber awareness, but in general in achieving a state of, let's say, cyber resilience in pretty much every organization.
Yeah, and so this relates to the point you were making before about the different types of personality that we need and skill sets that we need within the cybersecurity environment. Thank you, Anna. So I think we've got one for Jiri now. So there's a shortage of staff in cybersecurity. Why, Jiri? And how important is it?
Well, it's a good question again, but it's been already answered here. The market is, I mean, we have so many opportunities right now. A lot of people working from home. There are a lot of threats outside. A lot of bad hackers trying to hack all the systems possible. I think they're doing it for fun, maybe for money. But moving all the businesses and systems into digital, that's the main aspect. That's the main argument why the cybersecurity field has been growing very much. I think from recruitment perspective, I've seen a growth in salaries, for example, since 2019. Every year was 20% in the salary, so much more than in IT. And I remember IT back in 2009 and 10 after the crisis. It had been also growing, but not as much as cybersecurity right now. So there's over, I think, almost 4 million unfilled cybersecurity roles right now across the globe. So that's something that market will have to adapt to, and people will have to refocus, and there will be more trainings, more certifications. The schools will be offering more programs. So this is what will happen in the next few years, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I just can add something.
Sure, Bram. Sure.
Because we're all on this call because we want to have a successful professional career, to be honest. Cybersecurity offers that possibility, no doubt. Many possibilities, many opportunities. But who are the profiles who will be really successful? Obviously, you need understanding, knowledge, but there are the people who are best coping with the ability to change, because you start today in a certain job, which maybe even in 2 years doesn't exist anymore. So the roles are changing so fast because the technology changes so fast that the people who are best coping with that change are the people who will be most successful also in the future. So Jiri pointed out certain certificates which are absolutely relevant. And when our recruiters, and we ask our recruiters when they speak with people, obviously they test the knowledge, but more important, they test that soft skills, which is difficult to train, to see how are they coping with change, with different situations, with different trends. And that is even more important because I cannot predict what will be the situation in 5 years or in 10 years. But we need these people and we need them now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's a good point. So if somebody's looking to enter this, Bram, what's the best way to start? Based on your call to arms, if you like.
Yes. First of all, you need that curiosity. That curiosity, if you stay on your island, you will never make it. You need to reach out, get in contact with people, with networks, with groups. People like Jiri and their colleagues, they're constantly monitoring what happens in these online groups, for example, on LinkedIn or other platforms. Sorry. Then you need to prove that you can do it. How do you prove it? By proving that you have that ability to learn, to study, to improve, to create, to change. And that is something what you can join and prove by, for example, during a conversation, explain to Jiri, yes, we understand your business. Yes, we understand your threats. Yes, we understand where you want to go to. And how do you get that understanding is by reading. It's partially by following the news. Everybody knows by companies which are constantly under fire and attacks and hacks, about ransomware, about, well, focus on that, explain it. You need to be a solution for a problem. And if you offer a solution, we definitely have a problem that you can solve.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bram. And we just had a question about security certification. I mean, I think we've all mentioned it, particularly Bram and then Jiri, about the type of domains that we work in. So I'll ask this question to Jiri first and maybe go around the rest of the panel. So for those less technical roles in cybersecurity, particularly, how important is security certification? And more generally, if you're working in cybersecurity, how important is it to have that security certification? So I'll start with Jiri and let's go around the panel.
It's again a good question, but it's I would have to answer here. It's a combination. I always, as a recruiter, I have to look at the CV. I have to look at the soft skills. I have to look at the certification. So the person has only certification but no experience and lacking soft skills, I would have to most likely cancel this application. But if the soft skills are right, if I see there's ambition from that applicant to strive for certification, that's already great. But I would still say the experience makes it up for everything. So if and I haven't said it yet, I think one of the easiest maybe roles you can get into cybersecurity could be working for the SOC, Security Operations Center, as a SOC analyst, for example, level 1, where you're just responding to incidents. You have instructions. You do basically just by instructions. You don't need to understand too much. You just go by the order. So that's already a good experience to have if you have 1 year or 2 years. But if I see on top the certification, that makes up for it. But I would still say 40% experience, 20-30% certifications, and the rest would be soft skills. But sometimes soft skills are also playing a major role, depending on what kind of role you're looking for. If you're looking for a cybersecurity manager, the soft skills definitely need to be there, more.
Okay.
That would be my answer to this.
Thanks, Jiri. And And Anna, having worked in different environments, European organizations and even the cyber vendors, cybersecurity vendors, how important is that security, in your view, is that security certification? So let's say security clearances, etc., within the cybersecurity environment.
Well, security clearances certainly are a different, let's say, a separate topic from the general certifications. So the clearance is a little bit more complicated to achieve. Is not always depending on the, let's say, skills of the candidate. So that there's really something else. But in general, about certifications, I do like them. I think that they show not necessarily the experience, because I have seen candidates with a very impressive list of certifications, but that couldn't explain sometimes things that we need to sort out on a daily basis. So their experience was not necessarily reflecting the certifications. And that's why I'm, in general, at least this is what I do with my team, because I was mentioning earlier mentoring. It's also advising, okay, you want to take this certification. Why do you want to take it? Because maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe you want to look somewhere else. Now, when we have candidates, obviously, it's good if they come with certifications. It shows at least the time investment that they have provided into achieving this certification. So it's a good point. But that's, at least for me, it's not a deal breaker. So
right.
I look a lot, at least nowadays, at the soft skills. Like I said before, in cyber, such a sensitive domain for our clients, we don't always speak with technical people. Like Bram said, sometimes we speak with people that are completely, they don't even know that they have a cyber team within the organization. And then explaining them, why are we here today, requires, more the soft skills rather than the technical skills. And that's why I look a lot at this communication capability. If the person, of course, is also open to achieve these certifications, but at a later stage while working in RHEA, for example. So certifications are definitely not a deal breaker. They are a good start. I remember in the many years ago when before I started to work in cyber or in IT security, I did Cisco because I wanted to understand networking. And then even today I recommend it. I said, if you want to work in cyber, okay, at least to have some idea about networking. But there are also other certifications that offer the basic introduction to the cyber world. And I think they worth the time for people who will not work necessarily in cyber at some point, but they will be a domain that is quite close to it, to have this understanding, okay, what these people in cyber are doing.
Okay, so thank you, Anna. And specifically related to the area we were talking about before with these, let's say, less technical roles, is it important to have certifications in those roles as well, or is it less important for the less technical aspects of cybersecurity?
Well, let me tell you that it comes somehow naturally. So I have colleagues, and I worked with colleagues in the past that joined in different roles within the cyber domain, but it came from their side, the natural wish to understand more. Okay, guys, I need to understand more of what we are doing here. So I have seen people from marketing, from sales that took specific cybersecurity certifications to understand more. Okay. So no one forced them, but it comes natural because, again, like Bram was saying, if you have this curiosity in you, it's absolutely impossible that someone would not be interested to get more from the domain where they are working in.
Okay,
that's a good point that Anna is raising, I think. From the cyber world, you're connecting to the real world. That means you need to understand where you fit in the picture and how you talk with these persons. So we'll put the certifications on the side. What we absolutely need are people with a very diverse background, coming from several countries, man, female, young, old, because that's the real world where we live and work in. Also multinational. languages is of the utmost importance. I think at RHEA Group, Jiri can correct me if I'm wrong, but we work with more than 38 or 39 different nationalities, because everybody comes with this language, this cultural background, and this understanding of what is needed in that specific environment. So certifications, absolutely, plus, soft skills, I think plus, and even more probably. Being diverse, looking if you're that unique person, which we all are, and how do we fit in that bigger picture? That's the most important for me. So we try to have a workforce which is as diverse as possible, as qualified as possible, and with excellent soft skills. That's what we're looking for.
Thank you, Bram. And maybe go on to Jiri now. Just
if I wanted to add to this, you asked about like how technical or non-technical you have to be able to work in cybersecurity. I've been listening to one podcast it's the cybersecurity architect, and his background was IT, and he basically said that being IT guy, it doesn't have you don't have to have that IT background, but it helps you to understand things more quickly. So you jump over things quicker with IT background, but without, it's still possible. It just takes a little more time. That's what I wanted to add.
Okay, thanks, Jiri. And it's a very specific question. I think they know the answer to this one. So somebody's asked, I have a military and IT background, also have certification and introduction in cybersecurity from Cisco, and I'm specialized in cybersecurity through my university. I would like to know if there's a job opportunity for my case. One word.
Yes, please apply to our
yes, I think that's a good question and a very simple answer. So yes, very much so. So yeah, maybe another area, Jiri, if somebody is, just starting to their career, maybe just graduating or even at currently at university, what advice would you have for those people who wanted to get into a career with cybersecurity?
I think I've already touched this. I would say really go study as a whole the cybersecurity and find that little piece that really interests you. But again, you need to be curious about cybersecurity. But find that little piece, because it's a huge world of cybersecurity. There are so many domains in cybersecurity. So I would first go and try to see what's the closest to me. Whether it's audit, whether it's cybersecurity engineering, cybersecurity, security networking. There's a lot of disciplines. So this is what I would ask them to do. I would ask them to study a lot of articles, material, what's really the closest, and then I would aim for the right certifications and for the right internships. That would be my advice for somebody who's like the last year at the university. That would be my advice.
If I can add something, because we are now focusing on the technical roles. I think when you graduate from university, you have to apply for certain roles which are in your area of comfort. For example, we always look for junior market analysts who try to understand the trends, the future trends, future technology trends, future dynamics in the market, and make reports on that. We always need business analysts who understand the client. How can we solve issues? That can be junior roles. We need junior risk analysts. Okay, that's more technical maybe. But we also need supporting people who start as a deputy project manager or a PMO, that's an administrative person supporting the project managers. They are setting up the system, they learn by doing, and experience is much more important than certifications often. So these people, PMO people, they are the people who are the oil of the machine, making things work. And that is excellent for when you are just graduated. What we also always need are writers, people who are able to write reports or write proposals to customers. That doesn't need to be a senior person. Last but not least, and that is more in the marketing or communication area. In today's day, you only exist when you're visible online. So we need people who are able to translate our message to the big world on social media experts. We are active on LinkedIn, we are active on other platforms. Well, by doing that, you start to understand what is the business, you start to understand the dynamics and what is needed, and you simply grow into the cybersecurity world with an entry-level function. if you're not technical. And technical, you immediately can go as a software back-end, front-end, full-stack developer. That's different. But if you don't have that background, analysts, writers, social media creators, that are excellent functions to get a good start, I think.
Thanks, Bram. Another question we've had in. So among the cybersecurity profiles, is there a difference in the required skills and capabilities when dealing with the commercial or the institutional markets? I'll pass this one to Anna to start with, as her experience matches both. So is there a difference in the skills required, Anna?
Definitely. Probably not in the technical skills necessarily, but I would say in the going back again to the communication and the way we understand the client. So institutional market is quite different. Commercial market is also different. And what needs to be done here, the filter that needs to be applied is actually to try to understand the language of these markets. And then with the technical skills that someone is equipped with, there will be for sure a successful, let's say, project delivered. That's I think that's the key here. Okay. And it's between, I mean, that's the difference between all the markets. Just try to understand the language of that market and speak their language, and they will speak with you.
And Jiri, just onto you on that question as well. Do you see a different requirements in the profiles for candidates they will want to take for different types of work, or is there a commonality there?
I think there's a common thing in requirements, definitely. That's very common, but I cannot assess as I'm not a practitioner, so I haven't been working on on site at the commercial for some commercial company or institutional. I cannot say, but the requirements are quite similar. That's what I can say. Okay,
thanks, Jiri. And then Bram, I guess within RHEA we've worked across the space, the defense, and the commercial sector. Right? Do you think there are different types of, notwithstanding what Anna was mentioning there in terms of the language that is being spoken and the understanding of that domain, but is there a different type of profile that we use and we need in those areas?
Technically not. Soft skills, yes. And what is the difference? I think also the kind of profiles that we need is different. Space, institutions, long sales cycle or long business development cycles in the European Commission or institutes, they are planning the future years in advance. So we need people who are able to build up that complex systems to the future. While in a commercial organization, they have a problem yesterday, it needs to be solved the day before. So that agility that you need to respond to questions from the commercial environment is much more pressing. Some people like one, some people like the other. It depends on the personality of a person, I think.
Okay, thank you. And just another point you were raising earlier on of the diversity of people that are required, the candidates that are required here. Is there specific geographical locations that we are looking at? Is remote working an option within these locations? Can you give any advice to potential people who are interested in that career move? Absolutely.
Well, we are a European company and Canada, so we are a transatlantic company. And also before COVID, we were already a very virtual team. We have physical offices. We have physical offices in 12 countries. In all the capitals of Europe, we have a physical office. People can work in the office, but we also give the advantage of working remote because that's really our strength. I can give an example of a Romanian-based manager who is managing an Italian team of security analysts doing projects in France, the UK, Belgium. She is in the panel today. So that is the added value of what we do. Obviously, but I don't think it's a bad thing, we also ask our people to travel to each other, to see the customer, to confront the customer, to see how to understand their needs, and also to work together as a team. So we value that people come together physically once every couple of weeks to make sure that we create these teams. But the added value of working remote is absolutely non-negligible. So people spare time that they don't have to commute to work. People work in their ease. their own environment, they can focus on the job they can deliver, and they can have a nicer work-life balance, which is absolutely for the utmost important, because we are building a team not for the short term, we're building a team to run a marathon together. And that is what matters to me.
And Anna, as you've been used as the example here, is there anything you can share with about your experiences so far with working in that environment, with working with RHEA?
Well, I think even before joining RHEA, I worked remote. I had a remote, let's say, office for around 10 years. I've seen people who couldn't cope with that, so that's a possibility, and I accept it. It's not easy. And I have seen people that are very grateful for the remote option, let's say. I think within a team, it offers a very, very unique opportunity to create the trust between the team members and the trust between the team and the management. You know, in let's say more in older cultures, and especially when the current pandemic situation started, there were a lot of managers worried that they will not be able to see what employees are doing during the day. But I think that this unique opportunity, as I said, to start and build trust among team members and with other areas of the company is something that a lot of people do appreciate. It's somehow this trust starts to build not necessarily as an action put on paper, but it comes again naturally, because you have to, you know, look at us, how we interact today. Okay, so this is something that all of us experience more than 8 hours per day within the meetings that we have, and it's also trying the limits of people, because while we are sitting here in this panel, many of us have kids in the background. Mine are not in the background right now, but maybe you have. So it's a challenge, and it's testing our limits. But I also think that it helps us also to develop, actually, from this point of view as humans. Okay, so, and also as professionals.
Okay, thank you, Anna. And we've only got a couple of minutes left, so just a question to the whole panel. We have a number of participants on this call who may be thinking about a move into the cybersecurity environment, perhaps from different existing domains. So one by one, what's your advice? I'll go with you first, Anna, because you're in the middle of my screen.
My advice for the candidates is to go on our careers webpage, first of all, and not to get scared about how certain job descriptions are written. I admit we are also humans, so sometimes we do write things more general, or in a way that they are understood different by candidates. So I'm always saying, be open-minded, apply. One of the things RHEA does, and I experienced it, okay, I was also a candidate interviewing for RHEA, is that we keep an open communication with the candidates. So your resume will not go somewhere where you don't know what happened. You will always get an answer back, regardless of, you know, positive or negative. So just, you know, go on the careers webpage and apply.
Thank you, Anna. Bram, anything to add?
Very brief. We're working in one of the most exciting, fast-changing environments and industries in the world, and we are combining space, which is exploding, with security, which is also exploding. So my own, I have 3 things which I always keep in mind. First of all, luck doesn't exist. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Be prepared, the opportunity is there, you can go for it. Second, life is too short to be boring. So if you want to have an exciting career, try it out. And third, I understand it is all strange and it's all bizarre and you don't know anything about this. Well, believe me, I also don't come from a cybersecurity background. Fear is temporary, regret is forever. Just try and go for it. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Bram. And Jiri, the last word.
Yeah, I would probably advise go to our career website, look at our roles, read them carefully, and then you can come back to me personally on LinkedIn. I will reply. I will help you through, because every person has different needs. So I will try to apply my knowledge to the best and to help you. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Jiri. Well, many thanks to you all for attending today's session. Thanks to my panel. And if you need further information on the careers, as Anne-Maria mentioned, you can go to rheagroup.com. There is a specific section on careers, and within there's a specific section on careers in cyber. So please take a look. Hope you enjoyed today's call, and look forward to seeing you on the next RHEA Talk. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
Bye-bye.